honor to be here. I'd like to be a part of this panel to discuss the integration of AI. With me, I have two panelists to discuss this issue. Without taking too much time, let me ask them to introduce themselves. We'll start with the lady first, Joanne. Please go ahead, introduce yourself briefly as you give us your current perspective of AI in Kenya, the challenges that you see, and also opportunities you see in the foreseeable future.
Thank you very much, and a very good, afternoon? And a pleasure to be here to talk about a topic I'm really passionate about, that is artificial intelligence. My name is Joanne Bessia. I'm the founder and CEO of Tech Mindset Africa. And Tech Mindset Africa is basically an organization that educates Africa in artificial intelligence. We have so far educated over 10 countries in the world, and 6 of those have been Africa, and we want to engage more of African citizens in how can we together engage in artificial intelligence. And just to what you've just indicated right now, I'll be honest with you. Right now, the integration of artificial intelligence is in Africa, and this is from what I know, is that we are at the infancy stage. What do I mean by that? It is currently, this is artificial intelligence, this is what it can do, we're experiencing it at the beginning. But if you put 10 people in the room, and I expressed this last year during the CIO DX5 event, is that every person in the room will have a different perspective of AI. And that only proves that artificial intelligence is still at its infancy. Right now, that is a good thing because at least we know we are in the future of AI. But the question is, where are we at? What do we understand? How are we integrating? Are we integrating? And this is my perspective. I'll only talk about one word: data. Right now, we understand that artificial intelligence works with data, but maybe what we might not understand is that AI does not use only any data. It uses structured data, it uses data that has been planned. And that is where I think, in any case, as organizations, as small businesses, as corporates, we are heading into AI. The first engagement with AI is data infrastructure. We need to understand, number one, how are we getting data? Is the infrastructure there? Is it ready to help us as organizations, as businesses, to integrate artificial intelligence? And from that particular point, once we have all that infrastructure aligned towards data, and then now we start talking about what are the capabilities. So back to your question, this is where we are at as Africa. We are understanding first, how do we get data? What is data? What can it do? And what kind of solutions can it give when it's enabled with artificial intelligence?
Yeah, just before we go to Dennis, what opportunities do you see for Kenya, for Africa, for the world in AI?
The immense opportunities. In fact, if I start talking about them, we'll get to 2025.
Maybe you can just share 3.
I'll talk about one, education. Okay. And the reason I'm talking about education is because that is my expert field. Right now, there is opportunity for education, and more or less, especially education institutions. As much as our institutions are, teaching about machine learning, data science, those are the technical aspects. But there are opportunities to talk about artificial intelligence from a non-technical perspective. How many people understand artificial intelligence and how it can be used, for example, by a customer care service? Who knows about artificial intelligence used by a janitor? How can artificial intelligence make your customers prefer you than your competitors? So education is the immediate opportunity that we have for Africa to understand. Secondly, is there is opportunity within the financial industries. We just, there was a panel that was here that was talking about finances and its securities, etc. There's a lot of risk that is happening. The fact that we are online, the whole world is online, everyone is being attacked. These days, attacking physically is not a thing. digital attacks, cybersecurity issues, risks, mitigations. There's so many. But is there a cybersecurity firm that specializes in artificial intelligence management? You know, so managing risks and attacks using AI. Again, that's another opportunity. And lastly, we have opportunity in marketing and consumer management, customer management experience. Right now, as we're talking about customer preferences are becoming thinner and thinner. Today, you might sell for me an Adidas or a Nike, but there are 100 million other opportunities that are showing me the similar products in front of me because of digitization. And the question is, how do you decipher? General marketing, general social media marketing today does not work because you'll spend millions and millions, and this is in Kenya shillings, trying to target the right people. But there are opportunities on how artificial intelligence can be used just to get and talk to the right person who is relevant to your product and will choose what it is that they want because AI identified that aspect. So other than that, there are millions and billions of ways that AI can be adopted across different industries in Africa. I hope that made sense.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Dennis. Kindly introduce yourself and then answer the questions about challenges, opportunities that you see in AI.
Thank you so much, Mark. A great pleasure to be in this panel. My name is Dennis Kenyo from Kai Engineering Group, where I'm a digital transformation expert there. And going into 2024, I'm looking forward towards organization, businesses such as Kai Engineering Group, where I come from, other organizations, the private sector, the public sector. How do we integrate AI into our day-to-day operations? How do we integrate AI to ensure customer growth, customer retention? How do we integrate AI to foster our revenue growth and also to ensure operational efficiencies? And there are a lot of opportunities, as Joanne has already mentioned, a lot of immense opportunities. And again, also there are challenges, because as I've said, AI needs structured data. We understand that from the corporate point of view, from the business point of view, organizations have grown how they are storing their data, how they are managing their data, from time where data was stored in manual files to Excel files. Now almost every business, small as it is, it has an enterprise system whereby they have structured data. Now, how can they use this data to train AI models? How can they use this data to maximize the benefits of AI that is coming with it? So that's a big challenge. I see it as a low-hanging fruit that organizations, businesses, both in the public sector, has to utilize that. In the challenges, the AI also comes with the challenges. You have the challenge of data privacy, which is a big challenge. But also, we have regulators. We are glad that in our country, we have the Data Protection Act that at least is able to regulate on that, on the Data Protection Act. But also the government and the public sector has a lot to do more on giving more regulations to do with AI. We have seen in the US, last year, Joe Biden gave an executive order on how the country regulate AI there. So there is a gap on the regulation, which is a challenge. And also, Joanne also mentioned it. There is also another challenge in the cybersecurity. We don't see more of cybersecurity that is AI-driven or that is AI-linked. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much. John, you mentioned about opportunities that exist in AI, in Kenya, in Africa, in the world, and especially for businesses in Kenya. What I wanted to ask is, what challenges do you foresee businesses are facing today in integrating AI into their operations effectively? And also, how can they take proactive action in AI technologies rather than being reactive?
Absolutely. And that's a very important question, especially that we are speaking about artificial intelligence from an African perspective. And this is the truth right now. Artificial intelligence should be used, in any case we did not know, it should be used as a tool of inclusion and not exclusion. And that is where our challenges begin. Why am I saying this? In general, what I'm talking about, I'm not necessarily talking about gender, I'm not talking about race. That is inclusive. It should be used as an inclusion. But how about employees, the people who work for us? And how about our stakeholders, the people who sit at the board? How about our users, our customers who are using our products as businesses? Do they know, first of all, that you are intending to use AI, and which means that you are intending to get their data. All they know is that you ask them questions all the time. They get a questionnaire here, they get a call right there, but most of them do not understand that your intention is capturing data for better products. At the end of the day, you get it. Unfortunately, you find yourself in the media being sued by person A or person B as a result of ignorance. And this is one of the greatest challenge. If we are going to talk about artificial intelligence adoption, let us start by educating and including all our stakeholders. And if you're talking about stakeholders, immediately the initial idea is that the company wants to strategize towards AI innovation. That is good, but inform the people who are going to involve, inform your accountants who are going to create the budget, inform the customer care management and involve them in the process. Let them be your advocate to your customer. Involve and include every person. Go to the board, explain. Don't have them only make decisions on things that they do not understand. So that will be the first challenge, for example, that today on AI adoption, we might be overlooking. But the second thing is, how about the security and risk? Now that we have agreed and everyone has agreed to give the information, all right, and moving forward towards AI integration, how about the security? When I take, for example, data for Ian or for Mark or for Dennis, etc., do they know that their data is safe? Are they sure that their faces exposed in your internet domain cannot be used by any other company to market them? These are the things that we need to ensure and make sure that we protect the people we're going to work with and integrate in this space. And then thirdly is, as much as that is possible, yes, we have data science, we respect data science. I mean, scientists, we cannot work without them, machine learning engineers, all the enthusiasts and all the technical aspects of our teams that we work with in AI. But the question is there enough talent internally that is going to guide the process? Are we involving our internal teams to lead with what they know? They are the domain expertise. As long as you call a data scientist into the organization, they might not understand what your processes and procedures are in capturing data. They might not understand very well what your products are. Involve the marketing team, involve the accounting team, involve the customer care. As a matter of fact, involve the people who do what, for lack of a better word in Swahili, kiada ya moko. They do the work from the ground. Involve them left, right, and center. Ask them, what are the challenges? Do you know what artificial intelligence is, et cetera, et cetera? And once you're done with that, then you start scaling, or rather indirectly, you start involving everyone and they start to understand the need, why the organization is doing what they do. And the fact that you involve them, they will support you and they will be champions of AI integration. But without doing that, and we do this from top, bottom, then at the end of the day, we are going to have setbacks and also we are going to have resistance because this is new technology. Yeah. This is something that might not be really understood and not everyone is going to, adopt it because they'll think my job is going to be taken. Why should I work with the organization? And then thirdly, last but not least, I will talk about, what do you call this? Other than security, accessibility. Now, what do I mean by accessibility? Does the company have access to information that you need to develop an AI model? Or does it have access? Does the team have access to artificial intelligence knowledge? Does everyone have accessibility, to information that is going to guide the process? And the reason I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about an already existing AI integration because that's not where we are. We are at the point where we want to adopt. This is what we need to do, but where are we getting this information? Can we access it or do we need to buy? Is it going to be expensive? How much is it going to cost? Is it going to cause the organization to close for, for 1 year to adopt, or are we going to lose our jobs, to compromise our jobs so that the organization is AI smart, things like that. So these are the challenges. If we do not plan well in advance, more or less right now, artificial intelligence project management should be a course in our schools before we talk about artificial intelligence deployment. Once we get to that point, then we know as an organization from what way do we deploy it from the largest perspective, or do we just do it one department and then we scale, or do we just leave it and make it as a plan first we get to understand and educate our learners? So when we look at the issues of inclusion and not exclusion, security and managing risks, and also skilling our talents, and more or less making sure that everyone is involved and has access to the information they need at the right time, then I believe with these challenges, we are able to go together and move together as organizations, small, medium, large organizations, to slowly and progressively integrate AI, more so in 2024.
Thank you. It's interesting that you talk about AI in project management. Right. And what I wanted to say is that I saw that at the beginning of the year, actually towards the end of last year, the PMI, which is the Project Management Institute, have started doing a real focus on artificial intelligence and knowing that this is a world that we have to live in. So the landscape means that we have to engage with AI, and AI is something that now has to go hand in hand with our daily operations in organizations. Thank you for that answer. Let me ask you, Dennis, when you think about some of the ethical considerations, as you navigate the AI space, what are some of the ones that you can think about so that organizations can consider when they implement AI?
Okay, thanks, Mark, for that. And as previously mentioned, one of the ethical concerns that is coming with AI is about data privacy. And one thing that organizations has to do away with this is they have to be aware of the regulations. After being aware of the regulation, they have to be compliant. Are we complying with the Data Protection Act? As you know, many organizations are still not, only that no one has reported some, because over time you'll see that data protection, the office of the DPO is ordering a case after another one, meaning many organizations are still not aware about that. So they have to be aware and comply to that. Another thing is that we have to create a culture of ethical AI. As John mentioned, that it has to start from the bottom guy, the person who sweeps the office. That person has to be aware of AI. And this one goes even to the C-suite, the CEO, the COO, the CFO. Everyone in the organization has to drive a culture that is inclusive. We include all the employees, we include all the stakeholders, and after including them, we also do regular trainings. Are we training our employees? Are we training them on the data privacy? Are we training them on the AI ethics? Are we training them on the cybersecurity issues that we face? So organizations have to look more on training. They have to look more on complying with the regulators and also having the right culture.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. If I could ask Joanna a question, talking about implementing AI in the business landscape, businesses are run by people that have put money in it and they will get. So how can businesses measure return on investment? How do they put KPIs to ensure that AI is not something that is just so shiny package on the shelf and then they pick? How do you convince investors that this is something that can actually make business sense or can have return on investment? How do you do that?
Thank you for that, Mark. And then before we get into that particular issue of how can investors look at it, first, where are the investors, right? We have venture capitalists, we have angels, etc. But I am yet to see investors who are keen on investing in AI projects in Africa. Okay, more so because this is my country. I'll talk about Kenya because I know more or less about what is happening in the investment platform. But all said and done, if I was an investor and I was looking into KPIs of AI integration, the first thing I look at is, first of all, why do you want to apply AI? At the end of the day, is it going to be useful to my money? For every shilling that you put in AI integration, how much am I getting more? And for you to do that, then you must be focusing on customers. What is your reason for integrating AI? Is it improving customer experience? Is it improving marketing? Is it generally improving your product distribution? You know, what is it that you want to deploy AI into? That's the first thing I'd look at as the KPI. Because once an organization understands, they're not applying AI because competitors are, but they're applying because it is a need to grow or to scale, then as an investor, that is the first thing I would grab and be more keen to now move to the next stage. Now, the next stage in terms of another KPI will be how many people who are going to be involved in the project know about what they're doing. What do I mean by that? If you're going to tell me that I want to employ AI at the reception so that it captures through the camera, every person who gets into into the system or gets into the building, you're able to identify them, know who they are, what the experience is. Are they coming in mad when they left after you served them? Are they happy, or do you need to engage them more? If you are to come up with such a solution, I would like to know, for example, is the customer care involved? Is the askari at the gate, the soldier at the gate involved? Can they explain to the customers who come in or anyone who comes in what is happening to the organization? And at the end of the day, what is the IT team? How are they involved in this? So once I understand that you as an organization is able to empower your team, then I'll be confident enough to now start understanding how and where to put my money. And then thirdly, another ROI I'll be looking at is the safety, because as much as the project is so good, you might put in a lot of money, but 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line, you get the organization back because it has been sued, and the organization has to spend a lot of money in mitigating and managing the company resources, which is quite unfortunate. If I understand that data security or security in the whole process of the AI integration has been met and any risks have been mitigated, then that creates confidence in me as an investor that the organization is ready to implement with the least probable risks when it comes to the implementation and deployment of the project. And then lastly, I'd look at it in this way. And I'll use what Warren Buffett had said. AI technology does not change how we chew gum. In the same way, is that AI is not going to change how we chew gum, but is it going to make my systems better so that as a consumer who chews gum, you can access it faster than how you get it when going to the shop, having to go to the shop when I'm choosing flavors? Am I going to access the flavor faster? Is AI going to help me? Once I understand that AI is going to be implemented to scale my product to reach more people in the shortest amount of time and more probable, in a more preferable way, then I would invest in that particular organization. So that's how I'd look at the ROIs or the KPIs to understand where my money is going and how it's going to turn back to me very fast.
Okay, I'll give each other a minute to respond as we close. So for Dennis, there's a fear that AI will replace employees and a lot of work that is done by people. How do organizations ensure that there's embracing of AI in their organizations without facing the resistance because people think that their job will be taken away from them? Same question for both as we close.
Thank you, Mark. A very interesting one, because it's true that AI will take some of the jobs, but not all. AI, again, will also create jobs. And one thing that organizations have to do is they have to augment. They have to take their current workforce, and how do they integrate the current workforce with AI? How do we help our current accountants, current IT people, the salesperson, how do we integrate them with AI so that they can be more efficient, so that they can be more productive in the work? So again, the employees or even they should not see AI as something that is coming to draw them out of the job, but it's something that is coming to make them more productive and even to make their work more efficient.
Thank you very much. Joanne, as we close.
Yes, and thank you, Mark, for that. And thank you, my dear colleague, for that. This is simply what I usually say. AI is not going to replace you, but the people who use AI are going to replace you. What do I mean by that? If out of 5 people, if only one person, if you go for a job interview and only one person is AI adaptive, that one person is going to get the job. A very good example, Safaricom. I had someone comment about the billboard Safaricom being made right now, being created by not real people, but you know they're using images generated by AI. And there's no fault in that. It's only that Safaricom has had the opportunity to empower their employees to use AI to generate such images. What does that teach us? It teaches us, as much as AI is getting into our domain, how are you helping the people around you to understand how to use it better? I'm sure that idea did not come from the CEO. It came from one of the people in a boardroom meeting to help the organization cut costs. If that person came to me with such kind of ideas, I would keep that person. What does that mean? That means the people who learn how to use AI will replace those who do not know how to use AI. And that would be my last word.
Thank you very much for those insights. We thank you for the time. We end it here. We shall see you soon.